to have speech anywhere. And if you think it's limited to Twitter, if you think it's limited to Parler, you think it's limited to other alternative sites, no, it's not. They don't want the radio hosts who speak the truth to be able to speak and express their opinions. They want to deplatform Fox. They want to deplatform Newsmax. They want to deplatform our friends at OANN, One American News. No one is safe from censorship anywhere on the internet or anywhere else. There's been this crazed attack on our freedoms by big tech censorship, big tech censors. Most directly, I've been taken off Twitter, locked out because of a tweet I posted. I said something to the effect hydroxychloroquine is a safe drug. I've tweeted that repeatedly in the past. In fact, someone previously in September had complained about that tweet, and Twitter told me, we got to complain about that language, and we found it to be in compliance with our rules. Yet on Friday, shortly after I talked to you about the threat of big tech censorship, they told me not only did I have to delete that same tweet that they had previously approved, that even if I deleted it, I was going to be locked out for 7 days. So I appealed it using their process, and if I haven't heard from them. They've ignored it. And the punishment doesn't start until I delete it. So on top of being locked out for 7 days once I delete it, I've been locked out now for for a week because I appealed it. How complicated is that appeal? So obviously it's not about hydroxychloroquine. It's about the fact that I'm a leading conservative voice. They've been purging followers, and they have like 3 or 4 reasons as to why they're doing it or justifying it. We don't know because it's a black box. We're taking their word for it, even though they've been caught lying about their activities before. Judicial Watch's Twitter account has lost nearly 200,000 followers. I've lost, last I counted, about 150,000 followers. So that's over 10% of those who were following me. I think prior to this purge, I had 1.37 million followers. That's what they don't like. They don't like the fact that I got a big voice. And they don't like the fact that it's an effective voice. Same goes for Judicial Watch. It went from 1.37 to 1.2 or so. That's how significant the purge has been. YouTube, and of course the president's been banned. You've had the complete erasure of Parler from the internet. Everyone said, why are you staying on Twitter? Why don't you go to an alternative? I'm not against using alternatives. But as I pointed out to Newsmax a week or two ago, I said, well, you go to Parler, I said, it's going to be targeted for removal. Sure enough, it's gone. It's gone. They say they're coming back. We'll see. They don't want you to have speech anywhere. And if you think it's limited to Twitter, if you think it's limited to Parler, you think it's limited to other alternative sites, no, it's not. They don't want the radio hosts who speak the truth to be able to speak and express their opinions. They want to deplatform Fox. They want to deplatform Newsmax. They want to deplatform our friends at OANN, One American News. No one is safe from censorship anywhere on the internet or anywhere else. And as I said, they're lying. Section 230 doesn't allow you to engage in business fraud. Say you're doing something for one reason when you're doing it for something else. The Federal Trade Commission should investigate this. The Security Exchange Commission should investigate this. I mean, Twitter's been banned. We have foreign leaders raising concerns about freedom in the United States after the banning of Trump. Trump makes a public statement that he's not attending the inauguration, which was answering a lot of questions that were out there. Twitter says that's incitement. That's Orwellian to say that. YouTube is now engaging in prior restraint. They're punishing Trump because they think he might say something that they don't like. And so he's banned from using YouTube for 7 days. That's prior restraint. Yeah, I know they're not government entities, but in my view, they're essentially operating public spaces. What does that mean? Then in certain jurisdictions, they can't keep you out for political reasons. In DC, the DC Human Rights Law, which is extremely broad, doesn't allow anyone to deny you public accommodations based on your political affiliation. That's what's going on right now. You say, well, that's not a public accommodation. Well, that's not necessarily true. Read the definition of public accommodation. Indeed, there have been courts in matters related to the Americans with Disability Act that have ruled that internet sites are public accommodations, which makes, I'm not a key. Some of these anti-discrimination laws are like the ADA. I've never been too fond of, but it's certainly, but the logic is there, right? I mean, if let's say you're disabled and you can't access basically a key element of our nation's civic life and all these businesses and other communication methods on the internet, there has to be a reasonable accommodation because it seems to me it's a public accommodation, public utility. But even then, they're engaged. Forget about it. But let's go back to the initial issue. They're lying about what they're doing. They're pretending it's being done neutrally. It's not. They're engaging in false advertising, business fraud, etc. So I don't know what we're going to do. I'm going to let the appeal run. I don't know how long to let it run. But I'm off Twitter. Judicial Watch's activities on Twitter are constrained too, because Twitter, I'm convinced, is going to come after Judicial Watch if they post too much information that even indirectly mentions me. They're going to do to Twitter, to Judicial Watch, and me what they did to Donald Trump. Now, we're currently on Facebook. I'm on Facebook too. It's Judicial Watch for Facebook, Real Tom Fitton on Facebook as well. We're on Instagram at Tom Fitton and Judicial Watch. And we're online at judicialwatch.org. And this is what I suggest you do. If you like what you hear, if you want access to our educational information, if you don't think a government watchdog group is going to be protected online and be able to communicate with you, then this is what you should do. You should go to our website and sign up. Give us your email address so we can communicate directly with you via email, and give us your mail address, your postal mail address, so we can communicate with you via the mail. I am dead serious where it's not an unreasonable possibility that we won't be able to talk to you anymore if this keeps on going the way it is on the internet, and that we may just have to send you material through the mail. So that's, and you may be using Telegram or Signal or whatever. Believe me, all of that can be taken away just as easily as Parler was taken away. If they can remove the President of the United States, they can remove you and any internet application or anything else you think you're using to get around big tech censorship. And give us your phone number too, so we can text you too. Maybe we can do that as well. I don't know if we asked for it, but we should. So this is a crisis, and I'm hoping the courts get involved, but maybe get their failures to deal directly with the election controversy suggests to me we can't necessarily rely on them. So you should take action to ensure you're able to communicate your public policy views and learn about what your government's up to through Judicial Watch, because there's a government watchdog now who, with the encouragement of government officials, is being targeted for suppression in these United States of America. But thankfully, we've got a big footprint. We've got the resources because we have millions supporting us to keep on talking even with the suppression, but others won't. So if you value what you hear, and I encourage you to do this for anyone else, say, Get me on a mailing list, because I don't trust the internet anymore. So there's a serious danger to you losing access to information about what your government's up to that isn't controlled by the government or big media. So keep on, just be everywhere and do everything you can to ensure you're able to exercise your God-given, remember, God-given First Amendment rights to engage in peaceable assembly, speech. And the other part of the First Amendment is to petition your government. They don't even want you talking to your government. They don't. They want to make you fearful to communicate with your elected leaders. So I think I guess I should be angrier than I am, right? But that's life, I guess. I'm surprised I've lasted as long as I've been able to last on some of these platforms. I've always kind of thought they were going to come after me. Who knows? Maybe I'll be on Twitter soon. I'm not going to leave Twitter voluntarily. I'm not. But that would be a victory for the other side. And by the other side, I mean opponents of our republic, opponents of our Constitution. I don't think conservatives should leave Twitter. I think we should participate everywhere we can. If you think the truth is on your side, why would you keep it quiet? Why would we keep that candle covered? See it as you're able to, everywhere you're able to. That's my view.